This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. With Cybersecurity Awareness Month winding down, LifeLock wants to remind you to update your software. These updates will patch up security issues that identity thieves can exploit to gain access to your personal info. For comprehensive identity theft protection, there's LifeLock. LifeLock alerts you to more uses of your personal info and fixes issues that arise. Protect your identity today with a 30-day free trial at lifelock.com/podcast.
Joe, I'm hitting record and you're going to go.
When?
Right now.
Do it.
Fratallone's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 966.
Woo!
November 16th, 2022. 68 degrees was the high on this day. That was on two occasions, 1931 and 1953. And along this stretch in 1953, they had a really nice warm spell. And it was 2 below in 1933. And you'll be pleased to know tomorrow I have more information because I know you all love this. We don't spend much time in this state between 60s in this state. You'll learn more tomorrow.
Okay.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie.
Hi, Tony.
Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor.
What?
Joe Souchere.
Joe, tomorrow is Give to the Max Day. All right?
Oh,
Yes.
GLers for Patrick. This is important because
Play for Patrick.
You know what
Yes.
Kelsey thought? It was pray for Patrick, and he thought Patrick was on his deathbed.
oh no.
Royce.
No, not
Royce.
Royce.
That's not bad. You could also say a prayer for Royce, but
This is play for Patrick.
right.
Oh,
right.
he had a really funny tweet last night that he had
I
to
tell
text
you
me
what,
about.
of all the charity stuff that's come up over the years, this one, to me, makes the most sense.
It really
Well,
does.
it's making a big difference in a lot of lives of the youth.
So tomorrow...
the Schoonovers could have gone in a million directions, and they went in the right one.
Yes, they
Right.
did. So all week long, GL is rallying behind Mike Schoonover's Patrick Schoonover Heart Foundation to help identify heart defects in kids ages 14 to 24 following the death of their son, Patrick. The foundation provides free heart screenings for kids 14 to 24. These screens include family health history, blood pressure, height, weight, EKG, echocardiogram, and physician consultation.
Echocardiogram.
Echo.
To review results.
It's
The
like
foundation
Echo Fun.
also teaches hands-only CPR and AED awareness and donates AEDs to host schools. GLers, you can also help out this amazing charity with your tax-deductible donation. To do so, just go online to garagelogic.com, click on the banner to donate, or search the keyword Patrick.
I recommend it.
Thank you.
Florida man declares presidential run.
Really?
Who watched the Trump speech last night?
I watched the
Not
Wild.
all of it, but I did.
Reavers
Just a bit,
and-
yeah, just a
and me.
bit.
I
And
watched the
John.
Wild.
I didn't want to. I felt I owed it to myself.
Okay, Judge.
If that speech had been given by someone we previously did not know, named Jim Smith, you would have eagerly voted for the guy.
Well, people still will.
Except I needed those remarks to be delivered by someone who was sane. And knowing what I know about him, I can't trust him. But everything he said harkens back to what we said when he got elected in 2016. That's why Trump got elected.
Yes. Yes, I remember this.
I wouldn't allow men to compete in women's sports at one point. He said, that's why Trump got elected. He said a host of common sense things. A wide-ranging variety of common sense things. Mm-hmm. But I don't trust him because he's
got off
either
track.
trying to keep himself from being indicted or I don't know what to make of it.
Here was my thought, because last Wednesday, I think a lot of people, myself included, finally had their awakening that Trump really caused a lot of damage, and that's why the election results were as they were last Tuesday in a wide variety of regard. And I think if people haven't had their eyes opened last Wednesday or Tuesday, I don't think they ever will. And this is only going to make that exponentially worse.
Do not mention my name. Okay. if Trump was more focused with his speech like he was tonight, he would be much more successful. He is a frustrating candidate where his policy is good for the country, but his words are often to the contrary. As a 19-year-old who has hope for the future of our country, Trump can be effective, but he must stay on the substance and away from the unnecessary attacks. I love your show and listen every day from my new state of Wyoming, an actually free state. And why Trump supporter wouldn't want his name used, I have no idea. And
maybe he's working and doesn't want the boss to find out.
Ian writes, irony in the Democratic Party history. Hail the flashlight king.
Hail you!
Not bad at all. The missus and I were discussing the anticipated announcement by Donald Trump to run for president again in 2024. This sparked my curiosity to see if there's been a president who served 2 terms non-consecutively. The Google machine quickly answered that Grover Cleveland accomplished the same feat from 1885 to 1889 and again from 1893 to 1897. The WhiteHouse.gov profile for Cleveland was interesting. For example, he was the first Democrat elected after the Civil War, and he's the only president who was married while serving as president. That doesn't make sense.
No, got married.
Well, he doesn't say that. He said who was married while serving as president. Will you verify that,
Who
please?
was it?
Because that makes no sense, because Lincoln was married.
Grover Cleveland?
Grover Cleveland.
Yeah.
But
He
my
got
f-
married, I think, is what it means.
That's what I thought he meant too.
But
During the presidency.
but
Sorry.
my favorite part,
Super Grover Cleveland.
I'm going to quote in full. Cleveland vigorously pursued a policy barring special favors to any economic group. Vetoing a bill to appropriate $10,000 to distribute seed grain among drought-stricken farmers in Texas, he wrote, federal aid in such cases encourages the expectation of paternal care on the part of the government and weakens the sturdiness of our national character. Boy, have we come a long way from that, huh? Mm-hmm. I wish we had a Grover Cleveland-esque candidate to vote for in 2024, regardless of which party he or she comes from. Good luck, Ian. Isn't that something? It must be that Grover Cleveland was the first president to get married.
Cleveland was 47 years old when he entered the White House as a bachelor. His
Okay.
sister Rose Cleveland joined him, acting as hostess for the first 2 years of his administration.
That's weird.
Unlike the previous bachelor president, James Buchanan, Cleveland did not remain a bachelor for long. In 1885, the daughter of Cleveland's friend, Oscar Folsom, visited him in Washington. Frances Folsom was a student at Wells College when she returned to school. President Cleveland received her mother's permission to correspond with her, and they were soon engaged to be married.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me see if my memory's right. Is Grover Cleveland from Ohio?
Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York?
He was. Let's see. He was born in New Jersey.
I'm wrong then. Never mind. It wasn't
Okay, but he
Ohio.
was raised in Buffalo, or spent time in mayor of Buffalo.
How easy would it be to pick up gals in the local pub if you were the president? I mean,
Pretty
that's got to
easy.
be pretty.
Mr. Clinton, was it?
Yeah, but you had to go deep. You had to really go deep downtown because some of those chicks were very sophisticated, and they knew that they knew what the end of the line was going to be. If you know what I'm saying.
You know, there's a very interesting tidbit in this.
Easy
fellow's-
ones were fun though. You know, those chicks, they just free love. You what you do is if you take her to dinner. And she says, I know I don't want to try that. I don't want this. I don't want that. The
Yeah,
one
you
you
know.
want is the one that takes the plate out and says, I want to try some of this, I'll try some of this, and I'll try some of this.
Open for anything.
That's
yeah.
the one you want to go home with.
Yeah.
You know,
Did I
you're-
say that out loud?
Yeah, you know what, sir?
Yes, sir.
You're getting older, but your voice has remained young.
Yes, but my hair is gray
That's right.
everywhere.
There was an interesting tidbit.
It just happens.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There was an interesting tidbit in this fellow's email that Grover Cleveland would not appropriate $10,000 to distribute seed grain among drought-stricken farmers in Texas. You mean there's been a drought before? That's hard to believe.
That must have been during the industrial age when they were just,
What?
it was pollution.
There was a
spewing.
drought?
Why wouldn't he? What's the deal there?
You didn't listen to the quote?
Um,
Jesus.
eh,
He was still thinking about those easy women picking off the plate.
Maybe.
Federal aid in such cases encourages the expectation of paternal care on the part of the government and weakens the sturdiness of our national character.
Okay.
That's fascinating.
So, in other words, go hungry, you sons of bit. Right?
Not necessarily.
Where did you ask if Grover Cleveland was from?
I thought he was from Ohio, but I'm wrong.
Okay.
He was mayor of Buffalo, New York, and also the governor of New York.
A volcano is likely erupting deep beneath the Pacific Ocean in the U.S. Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. But scientists don't know for sure because it's so inaccessible. All indications are that the Athye Seamount began erupting in mid-October, the U.S. Geological Survey said Monday. The Northern Marianas are about 3,800 miles west of Honolulu. Scientists are looking to see if the activity is shallow earthquakes or if material exploded from the crater, said Matt Haney, a USGS research geophysicist. Scientists are checking satellite data to see if there's discolored water, which could suggest material is coming out of the volcano, he said. There's nothing right now that suggests that this eruption will intensify and become a large eruption, Haney said. Still, mariners would want to avoid the immediate area. Activity from an undersea volcanic source was picked up last month by hydroacoustic sensors some 1,400 miles away at Wake Island. Does anybody have an observation about that brief story?
Nature is going to do what it's going to do.
No,
That
that's
too-
not the
that
one
too
I'm
generic?
thinking of.
Okay.
That's not the one I'm thinking of.
It's north of Guam?
No.
Guam's gonna flip
Does anyone
over?
have an observation?
The Earth's swimsuit area is rumbling?
Spewing.
You're going to tell me what the temperature's going to be 100 years
okay.
from now, but you can't tell me if you know whether this volcano erupted. It's right here. It's on Earth.
Yep.
You have measuring devices. You have machines.
Yeah,
and you
get it
don't
together.
know. You don't know. But you're going to tell me what the temperature's going to be 100 years from now. Well, you're lying to me. You don't know what the temperature's going to be 100 years from now. And we have listeners who are somewhat weary of my climate diatribe, so I'm going to be very careful to limit that. But I'm terribly amused when I read when they trip themselves up.
Good point.
When
That's
they
a good
trip
point.
when they trip themselves up. Here's a volcano likely erupting, but they don't know.
We don't know.
But you have no problem showing me some phony computer graph and tell me you know what the temperature is going to be 100 years from now. B as in B, S as in S.
Word.
To your mother.
I'm telling.
All right. Florida man.
Volcanoes are
because
crazy, aren't they? I mean,
they're just crazy.
how do they? Why do they erupt?
Well, mother rumbles deep in her swimsuit area.
Oh, boy.
She's been
This is
on
the
that
scientific explanation.
go.
But I'm just saying, isn't that weird? So there's a hole in the earth, and there's a bunch of hot lava sitting there that just comes out of nowhere.
Aren't the Mariana Islands, they're all volcanoes anyway?
The trench.
Well, most of them aren't the Hawaiian Islands volcanoes?
I think any island is.
We're not talking about Hawaii. We're talking
No,
about...
but I'm resting your case. Aren't most of those islands volcanic situations?
Well, why would you change the subject to Hawaii when we're talking about Mariana?
What about Treasure Island? Does that have a
I was trying to
volcano?
confirm your observation. I was trying to be a
Well,
team
stop it.
player.
Just stop it.
I think the island is calling.
9 volcanic islands and approximately 15 seamounts, whatever that is, that form an island arc system. Oh, including Iwo Jima. Yeah, there you go.
Copy that.
Yeah.
What else do you need to know?
I don't need to know a thing about it.
All right.
Well, let me tell you something. Minnesota collected $30.33 billion in tax revenue in fiscal year 2022.
Jeez.
2.93 billion more than Feb's forecast. Wow. You know who's
I know exactly who you're talking about
the
because
American
they are,
experiment is
they
considering this.
Yep.
They're the great pushbackers.
They're a great mole.
Well, they're wondering, will we ever see that money? Will taxes ever be lowered? Not with the current sweep of DFL office holders. This is what they do. They're the original pushbackers, the center of the American experiment. They say, think about it. Minnesota collected $30.33 billion in fiscal year 2022, almost $3 billion more than February's forecast, February of 2022. So let me tell you something. This is the kind of information you get from the center of the American experiment. Right now, they're having their Golden Turkey Awards to vote for the biggest waste of local government money this year. You can vote on it by going to AmericanExperiment.org. The contestants are food fraud, grants for self-love and strippers, $1.3 million to help kids go outside, and $20,000 to promote outrageous home remedies for COVID-19. Of course, the food fraud is $250 million.
Well, that's chump change.
Yeah, it's the center of the American experiment. They bring in speakers, they hold events, they have a great magazine. It's a think tank of thinkers. And as I say, they have been and are the original pushbackers. Find out more at their great website, AmericanExperiment.org.
As I said yesterday, and as I say today, and as I will say tomorrow, get your holiday lights done professionally. And I'm talking about Kahuna Window Cleaning and Seasonal Services. So it's not just window cleaning that they do. And let's face it, it's cold right now, so you're not going to get your windows cleaned. Save that for the spring. Make sure your gutters are all set for the spring. And if they get full, call Kahuna. They'll clean out the gutters in the spring. But right now, focus on how great your house looks for the holidays. Kahuna Window Cleaning and Seasonal Services, they can do that. They will come out to your home and they will put up your lights, and that will be a wonderful, wonderful professional job. They've been serving families and businesses in Minneapolis since 2007. They are veteran-owned and they are Garage Logic approved. 612-888-5248. It's so simple. Maybe you just want some nice, beautiful white lights to outline the outline of your home. You can do that. Tell them what you want. They'll do it, but get on their schedule right now. Don't wait until the week of Christmas. No, it's going to be too late by then. 612-888-5248 or go to KahunaWindowCleaning.com. Let them know that the rookie sent you and tell them you're GL or they'll waive the trip charge. It's so easy to do, and you're going to be so... you'll be the envy of the neighborhood like I am every year when you have professional Christmas lights that are done by a professional. And maybe it's Hanukkah, maybe it's Kwanzaa, whatever you're doing. It doesn't really matter. 612-888-5248. For those that are impatient, all you have to do is call KahunaWindowCleaning.com.
I'm rolling.
You rolling?
Yes.
No, that's
Here
A.
we go. No, that's okay. Kenny's got to stop.
I'll stop.
It's the Flying Heights. Thank you, boys. Wonderful.
So G. Eller Tom sent me his Seafoam Works story. I believe I've come across the ultimate seafoam success story, a YouTube channel called Project Farm, where a guy named Todd tests and compares all sorts of tools and products to see which one is the best. He's not paid by anybody, so these are organic and real. He's tested things like grease, which is best, chainsaw, two-stroke oil, and it goes on and on and on. And he does many precise tests to compare the product. A few years ago, he used Seafoam and top engine cleaner on a clunky old Ford Ranger. I've actually seen that one. It's good. He shows the before and after using Seafoam in the gas tank and in the crankcase. I was amazed at how well it fixed up that old Ranger while he used another brand of oil stabilizer product, I believe, Seafoam, and he's right. Seafoam did fix the carbon buildup and the lifter noise. GLers, you should check this out, and I apologize ahead of time for the YouTube rabbit hole and lack of productivity you may encounter. GLers, yeah, like I said, I have seen it. It's a great test. Just search for Project Farm on YouTube, and you'll find the rabbit hole that will keep you busy for hours. And Seafoam, like usual, wins every single time. It's a wonderful product in a world of crummy gas. It's our savior. It's Seafoam.
I've been alerted to a resolution passed by the St. Paul School Board. And it's not only an indication of the failed academy, but, boy, I read this and I just think the kids don't stand much of a chance. Adopting a St. Paul Public Schools resolution mandating the divestment of and preventing further investment in fossil fuels. Let me go back to Trump last night. Another reason that we would have said in 2016, and that's why Trump got elected. He, with great justification, is as puzzled as anybody why we're sitting on all this oil and we don't do anything about it.
Right.
Well, okay. I wish those remarks had been delivered by adopting a St. Paul Public Schools resolution mandating the divestment of and preventing further investment in fossil fuels. Whereas St. Paul Public Schools seeks to develop awareness and empathy for global communities, including people from historically and socially marginalized and underrepresented groups. Let me stop right there. I can take each one of these whereases apart.
Let's go.
One of the ways that socially marginalized and underrepresented groups can flourish is to get themselves out of poverty. And one of the surest ways to get themselves out of poverty is to adopt some of the industrialization and capitalism that the Western world's enjoyed. And to do that, you would require fossil fuels.
There's no way around it.
Well, they're hypocrites.
Right.
Whereas all actions that address climate change and environmental degradation must prioritize justice and equity, while vulnerable populations such as those in developing countries, women, children, indigenous groups, people of color, and the financially insecure have accrued few, if any, economic benefits from fossil fuels, they disproportionately bear harms of pollution and waste disposal, food and water shortages, and systemic financial risk. That's simply not true. How have they bore the harm of pollution any more than anyone else? Whereas failure to reduce carbon emissions will result in increased risk of devastating hurricanes, flooding, droughts, fire, pestilence, and food scarcity. We don't know that. That's not true. All of these things have happened before. Whereas, according to the Department of Natural Resources, Minnesota has warmed by 3 degrees Fahrenheit between 1895 and 2020. But that's a we don't know that, Reavers. Reavers?
Yes, sir.
That's a we don't know that.
I'm trying to find some audio for you. Sir.
We don't know that.
Whereas, according to the DNR, each of the top 10 combined warmest and wettest years on record occurred between 1998 and 1920. Whereas this and that, whereas this, be it resolved. The Board of Education, Independent School District 625, St. Paul, seeks to exclude investments with direct fossil fuel involvement defined as follows. Do not invest in companies listed in the Carbon Underground 200 listing of the top 100 public coal companies globally and the top 100 public of oil and gas companies globally. I hope you people freeze to death. I really do. So number 2, seeks to exclude companies that derive an aggregate 5% of total revenue from coal extraction. I hope you get cold. I can't read the rest of this. It's misguided. It's brought to you by people who are not very wise.
Engaged.
Well, it's reactionary nonsense.
It's brought to you by people who have no business determining your child's education.
But again, we're outnumbered. So this is going to just continue to keep happening, and people are just going to pass the blame on to somebody else.
I don't know how the school board votes work. Does that have to be unanimous to come up with a resolution? Because if I was on the school board, well, I couldn't be on the school board.
No, you're too rational thinking.
I couldn't stomach this nonsense. These
You
people
stand
are
up.
fools.
Stand up and ask why they're wasting our time with this nonsense.
How are you going to heat your schools?
Hot air.
Pot-bellied
Hot air.
stove.
Electric hot air. Electric hot air.
No, you just plug it in like your car. See? You just plug the spool in, and it heats itself.
What does this have to do with education?
They've
Nothing.
overstepped their bounds.
And speaking of which, U.S. offshore wind industry faces blowback from locals. This would be called windmilling.
Windmilling.
It's just one cable meant to bring electricity from an onshore wind farm to a former coal-burning power plant in southern New Jersey, but it symbolizes a big challenge facing the renewable energy industry. The cable has been fought over for nearly 3 years with no end in sight in a state whose officials are eager to get offshore wind power up and running. Thousands of wind turbines have been proposed for areas along the U.S. coastline as the nation tries to meet an ambitious goal of deploying enough of them offshore by 2030 to power 10 million homes. Okay, what if it's not windy?
You have to make wind then. You have to force
Do you
nature
have
to.
do your lights go on if there's no wind?
You just get somebody out there and just keep spinning it.
Right. Or throw money at it.
So far, just one project is up and running in Rhode Island, while another is under construction off Virginia, where two of an expected 175 turbines are operating. But obstacles like the single contentious cable in New Jersey show the challenges the offshore wind energy industry must overcome quickly if it is to come anywhere close to meeting its goals. Josh Kaplowitz, Vice President of American Clean Power, a federation of renewable energy companies, said offshore wind is crucial to addressing climate change. Well, what if it's not windy?
I see in my cartoon bubble, I see a Far Side cartoon-like, where the windmills are in usually just rural places, maybe up on a hill. I see a couple of guys with a giant fan turning the fan on so the windmill will start moving.
The problem is that the people of Ocean Beach, New Jersey.
I didn't know if my mic was on there and nobody reacted to that, so appreciate it.
The problem here is that people in Ocean City, a popular beach community south of Atlantic City, are against a project proposed by Ørsted and PSEG that still needs state approval to bring a power line on shore. We don't want this here in any way, shape, or form, said resident Susan Hornick, a leader of local opposition to the plan. She cites concerns about damage to the environment, the possibility of higher rates being charged to consumers, and the general lack of certainty about what a brand new industry is in this country. Let me tell you something.
Is that not in my backyard?
It's windmilling. If you went completely renewable, solar and wind,
Okay.
it would take up the amount of land in the United States equal to the size of Great Britain. And I got that from Jordan Peterson, who I trust implicitly.
Tell me that again.
If you are going to go completely renewables, you will have to have enough windmills and solar panels to take up the amount of land that is Great Britain.
Okay.
So picture the country of Great Britain plopped down on a United States map, and you're eating up a lot of space for this BS.
Right.
In any event, the people of Ocean City or Ocean Beach, New Jersey, are saying we don't want this.
One thing that's occurred to me because in regards to the solar panels is I've seen a number of them that are on the roofs of people's houses, and I'm wondering how sufficient is that? Because that makes sense to me. If that's enough power to help offset the cost of your energy, I wonder if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, these people work out a deal with Xcel, and they're undeniably would be reducing their utility bill.
And it's not taking up any more space.
From what I've read, the best way to do that is to pay for it right away. Because if you take out a loan,
I see.
The loan will probably outlive the lifespan of the panels on your roof. And when you have to replace a roof with those on it, I guess it's a real pain in the butt. Joe, you made a point about Ocean City. What if it's not windy? And that got me thinking. Google search, is it always windy in Ocean City, Maryland? I found conflicting information.
It's New Jersey. But Ocean City, Maryland would work.
No. We're going to do this right.
Well, Kenny's doing that. Did we know, and maybe we talked about this, the local colleges divested in fossil fuels
Well, a lot
over
of the woke people divest. Yeah.
St. Thomas, over a year ago, University of Minnesota.
I hope St.
announced
Thomas
this.
freezes to death too.
Yeah, they announced it November 4th, 2021.
Yeah.
And the U of M, September of 2021. I don't
know.
remember that at all.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember hearing
Oh,
about
it's so common it probably isn't making the news a lot.
Here we go, Such. Is it always windy in Ocean City, New Jersey? The windier part of the year lasts for 7 months from October 4th to May 3rd with average wind speeds of more than 11.8 miles per hour. January, the windiest month, with an average speed of 14.5.
Okay, solar panels. What if it's not sunny?
Well, that's why you have the wind deal.
That's your backup.
What if you have a day when it's not windy and not sunny?
Well, then that's why you have XL Energy.
Oh,
Your double backup.
the attack on the fuels is at the heart of the mystery, because the mystery cannot be brought about unless you completely deprive the American society of their means to create. It can't happen without that. Well, once you get that done, then the sky's the limit for the mystery. Can redefine this country any way it wants to.
What is the current state of industry or entrepreneurism? Can you only be an entrepreneur if it is green, or you're so woke, or is there somebody working on an engine? Do you kind of know what I'm saying?
I do.
Well, I do, and Joe has made the point throughout the years. The engine technology where we're at right now is just beyond the scope of brilliance.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
What they've done and the way they can stretch out a gallon of gas and then get rid of the pollution. And granted, it sometimes makes for underpowered cars, but the technology is amazing. Today's lawnmowers and snowblowers are so much more efficient and amazing than they were just 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and don't run your snowblower dry. You're just wasting gas.
Matthew, you're right. I think most of the entrepreneurs, I mean, this would just be a random guess, that most of that entrepreneurship is in the green industry right now.
Wow.
Wouldn't you say that,
Well, yeah,
Such?
absolutely, because the banks are getting convinced that they can only loan money to the wokeness.
Right.
What a horrible future.
And everybody is trying to improve on a very suspect product, that being wind and solar.
Yeah. What if it ain't sunny?
What if it ain't windy?
See, my deal when I was looking into this would be to pay for all of it right away, not get any batteries at all, Reavers, and just sell the power that I generate right to the power company.
Eckberg Lammers is going to take care of your estate and keep it out of the hands of the courts. Possibly save you some money in taxes, too. Eckberg Lammers has been doing this for more than 70 years, establishing estate plans and wills, all kinds of family problems that need to be sorted out. The estate planning team at Eckberg Lammers can help you make sure your estate will transition smoothly. You don't want to leave a mess behind.
No.
I got to have lunch next week with a guy about this. It's. I don't care how old you are. It has to be done. I don't care what you think your size of your estate is. It has to be done. That way, those you leave behind are not wrestling with all the hassles that you didn't take care of. And unfortunately, we're all going to die, and you got to get a guy or a gal. And Eckberg Lammers has those people. Estate planning services in Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's great. It's if you don't decide, the courts will. This puts you in control.
The driver's seat.
Make an appointment with Eckberg Lammers. I don't care how old you are. I've been telling the people here they've got to get it done.
I'm almost 54.
But then you need to get this done.
Okay.
You need to get this done. Call Eckberg Lammers and make an appointment at 651-439-2878 or visit eckberglammers.com/will.
It is that time of year. Not really. It's always that time of this year, season, whatever the case may be. When you are going to entertain and you're thinking about, wow, my family's going to come over and see the same old living room carpet, the same old basement carpet, the same old kitchen floor. If it's outdated, then get in touch with the people that can help you with that. And that is Redmond's Flooring and Design. For 50 years, they've been serving the wonderful, wonderful flooring needs, interior design needs of all those people in the Twin Cities. And their mission is simple: provide the best quality products and services at affordable prices. Forget the next day installation junk. Redmond's prefers to emphasize quality over speed. Doesn't that make sense? Doing it right the first time. Now, Redmond's is also a premier provider of Mohawk flooring, which is great if you're a pet owner like I am. Mohawk All Pet Protection and Warranty is the only carpet protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Your pets are family members as well, so no matter how you live, you've got it covered right there. Soft, luxurious, Smart Strand Forever Clean Carpet. Smart Strand, extraordinarily clean, exceptionally durable, and environmentally friendly. Mohawk is the ultimate floor for every room in your home that's suitable for all your pets. It's time to love your floor with your entire family thanks to the All Pet Protection and Warranty from Mohawk. Learn more about Mohawk and all that Redmond's has to offer at redmonds.com, REDMANNS.com. Let them know that the Rook sent you. Serving the Twin Cities for over 50 years, it's Redmond's Flooring and Design.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
Thank you, boys.
We've got another great sale in progress right now from Rich at Maple Grove Lock and Safe. The Veterans Day sale started last week. It's running through November 22nd. It's in honor of our great veterans that Maple Grove Lock and Safe is offering some special pricing on select USA models of Liberty safes. The USA 50 Iwo Jima, it's a limited edition gloss white. With a big Iwo Jima logo, the USA 50, just your basic, and the USA 30. All of those on sale, like always, financing, professional delivery, installation, that's all available and advisable, especially the delivery and installation. These Liberty safes, they're made in the USA by Americans, a transferable lifetime warranty, the absolute best built safes on the planet. And Maple Grove Lock and Safe is the best place in town to get them. You can look them up on the web, maplegrovelockandsafe.com. Then stop in and see Rich at the Maple Grove showroom. He's open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and 24 hours at the website. 6901 East Fish Lake Road, maplegrovelockandsafe.com.
Paul Petraszewski from GL South, the Dallas, Texas chapter, writes, I don't believe you guys mentioned the horrific mid-air collision between the Bell P-63 and the Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress.
It was awful.
Over the weekend here in Dallas. I unfortunately did see the film footage. And I'm sure every professional airman in the country is wondering how in the hell that happened.
Right.
The 6 airmen who lost their lives volunteered their time to keep those planes in the air. They traveled around the country and the world, for that matter, working hard to keep that part of our history alive. I would consider them all hail fellows, well met. In addition to the extremely sad human tragedy, we lost 48 historic cylinders in 5 seconds. The B-17 was one of roughly 4,800 produced during World War II and one of 9 airworthy planes still flying today. Well, now we're down to 8. It had 4 9-cylinder rotary engines that you could hear and feel before you saw that plane in the sky. The Bell P-63 and its inline 12-cylinder engine was one of 9,500 built and only 5 still flying. Now we're down to 4. It was an extremely sad day for both man and machine here in Dallas last Saturday. At first I panicked. I thought this was Fifi. Fifi was a B-29, though, not a Boeing B-17. I flew in Fifi. I was honored to have been given a ride from Oshkosh back to here years ago aboard a B-29 named Fifi, and I've never experienced anything like it in my life. And those guys that really put their heart and soul into maintaining these aircraft and to make sure they can keep running. And that was just terrible. I can't imagine how or why that happened.
Right.
Why the little P-12 how did it happen? How did it get there? I'm sorry, Bell P-63, and it clipped the wing of the Flying Fortress, and within seconds they were both on the ground in a flame, and we lost 6 airmen. That's amazing. And I guess the FAA is on the scene, and they're trying to figure out what happened. But if you saw that footage, boy, that would be an air show I was glad I was not attending.
No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I bet that just really silenced the crowd. I mean, what a devastation. And you don't expect it to happen. It was so surprising. As far as I know, B-29 Fifi is still operating.
There is a B-25 called Miss Mitchell, which is out of the Commemorative Air Force Airport at South St. Paul. And when that thing flies up, goes right over my house, you can feel it. It's really neat. If you ever have a chance to go check out the South St. Paul Fleming Field, look for Miss Mitchell. The B-25 is really fun.
I could watch that stuff all day.
Yeah. The Commemorative Air Force does a great job over there.
They had B-29 at that experimental air show in Oshkosh every year. And the one year they had it there, I was invited to fly back on it. There's a tube that goes from the stern to the forward part of the plane, and you could crawl through it. That's how the guys got back and forth.
You flew on it?
Yeah, I got to fly back on it and land in St. Paul. And it came down over Dayton's Bluff, almost straight down, and kind of leveled off and banked and landed.
Cool. That's long enough strip there, huh?
Oh, yeah, it was just thrilling as hell.
Was your dad in a 29 or a 17? He was in a 17, right?
I don't know what he flew, a C-130s? No. He flew fuel around, but he died before I was smart enough to get more information about that.
A friend of mine's dad flew 17s in World War II, and his missions were so long that each mission counted as 2. But he survived that and went on to live a very, very long and happy life.
The guys in the plane on that day were all vets. And they were just staring out the window, and you just had to wonder what was going through their minds.
Oh, man.
Because it flew low over Wisconsin farm country all the way back.
Well, they're happy they weren't being shot.
Yeah, so it probably looked like the fields of Europe or whatever theater they would have been in. The plowed land and the crops and all that. It was just, it was something.
A buddy of mine's dad, who worked for, I think, 3M as an accountant or something like that, Bob Domler, he passed away, but I didn't know this about him, but in World War II, he was a B-24 aerial gunner with the 8th U.S. Army Air Force in England and also served in the Korean War. So that dude was in the bubble going...
No, my father-in-law was in the bubble in the Pacific Theater.
And they never talked about it.
Shooting people down right
Just
and left.
unbelievable in that you're virtually a target.
I'll tell you something interesting. The day he died, he was shooting Japanese in his hospital bed.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
They're coming.
Wow. I would be crying like a little schoolgirl. We know. Yeah.
Well, we got that part figured out.
I wouldn't get that far. I would claim I'm transgender or something like that. Where
that would be put you right to the front today.
Right.
My buddy's dad told a lot of war stories, but none of them had anything to do with war, if you know what I mean.
I think I do.
Gotcha. Copy that.
George H.W. trained here to be a pilot.
Yeah, I did know that. That's cool.
Well, it was like Saving Private Ryan. I thought one of the great scenes in the movie was when his people finally, they're taking a break and they're sitting around and they're pestering him. What did you do? He was their leader. What did you do at home? What do you do at home? What did he say? He was an English teacher in high school? Something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Crazy.
Well, this used to be one hell of a country, didn't it? Sure did. Just used to be one hell of a country.
Well,
now they're asking Korean War vets that go to the VA if they identify as male or female.
Yeah.
I got all the dope you need. for Thanksgiving week. The rest of this week, Thanksgiving week. All of December at EcoFun Motorsports. All electric bikes, $200 off. All those scooters that turn errands into adventures, $100 to $500 off.
Woo!
That's the winter sale plus free heated storage if needed. These are the lowest prices since before COVID.
Why aren't
hit.
you buying right now? Why aren't you calling
I'm
right
set.
now?
I got an appointment next week. We're off next week, and one of my stops is EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake. They got over 100 youth ATVs and dirt bikes in stock. They've got the Odes Rover 4C 200cc EFI electric fuel injection golf carts, $1,000 off, on sale for $62.99. They're cool. They got the LED. I've seen the. I seen.
You seen him?
You seen it,
Seen
son?
him.
What the hell
I
happened
seen
to me
him.
there? I've seen the photos. Tim linked me to the photos. LED light bars, fold-out windshield. They're
You've
just.
seen bike.
They'll hold on to it till spring for $100. You can store it.
I scoot.
Yeah. And they got the full-size ATV with the 2,000-pound winch and a KFI steel snowblade plow for $58.99. You are done with a shovel.
Toast.
You are done with a shovel. 0% interest financing for 1 year on all products in stock. 2 stores, EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake, immediately west of 35E on 97. You can't miss it. And a store that opened this summer in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42 and 35W. EcoFunMotorsports.com.
Boy, am I glad I made the call to call, rise, and shine and got that garage door tuned up before winter hit. You should too. Perfect 5-star rating on Google and Yelp for my friends at Rise and Shine Garage Doors because customer service is their #1 focus. And they're going to give you options. They do not do high-pressure sales. They let the customer decide from the different solutions that are best for them. They're local and family-owned. Josh and Alex are the owners and GLers, and they grew up right here in the Twin Cities. You get a 5% discount for seniors, military members, and AAA members. And their employees are certified technicians. They're not dum-dums like me that they just hire off the street. No. They're the best. Certified IDEA master techs that are on their staff. And they're going to come to you 7 days a week, by the way. Doesn't matter. They will get out to you. Metro area, if you're not in the metro area, that is, not a problem. They're expanding. Rochester, St. Cloud, Mankato, Northfield, Cambridge, and also parts of western Wisconsin. When you call Rise and Shine, don't forget to ask about the Rooster Club membership because that includes a tune-up on an annual basis, and they will waive the trip charge. 7 days a week service. It's that easy. Call riseandshine.com. That's their website. Get in touch with them. Please tell them that you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
2,
1.
1.
And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
The acoustic storm rages on the GL podcast.
Man, when John and Dylan sit in the backyard, I'd wander over.
It's all right. Yep.
I'd wander over.
You wouldn't come over there because we have fires. You don't like fires.
Yeah, I'd be
Depends
on fire
which way
pit
the
duty.
wind's blowing.
It's too far away. Way too
Toss
far.
another one on.
You could sit downwind. Or no, upwind, right?
It's outside of his 6-block
Could you
radius.
play a little louder, please?
Brands you need right now. Moon Motorsport, they have them for you. We're talking Triumph, Ducati, KTM, BMW, Husqvarna, Honda, Yamaha, Can-Am. And right now, if you buy a brand new bike at Moon Motorsports, they're going to provide you free of charge winter storage or free delivery to your Minnesota location. You can see all the brands and the options at moonmotorsports.com, a wonderful website. They also have a used section if that's your deal. But boy, this Black Friday thing, this hour-by-hour savings party they're having Friday, November 25th is a big deal, 1 to 6 p.m., and the savings on the parts, the apparel, the gear, they increase by the hour. It's like a progressive happy hour, only you get more savings. So the longer you hang out with your buddies at Moon, the more money you save. They also have amazing giveaways. Spend $100, you can enter to win one of 3 Polaris Sportsman 110 They're the youth size, the kiddo size ATVs. Of course, all of this plays out on Black Friday. Moon Motorsports, they're a Minnesota motorcycle ATV, side-by-side, and sleds, and service, parts, sales provider. They do all of the above. They do it right there on the south side of 94, west of 25 in Monticello, and, of course, on the web, moonmotorsports.com.
So I have a sad note.
Uh-oh.
Rook probably doesn't even know this. Dennis Denning has died.
Oh, I saw Royce's tweet.
I learned that. I learned that earlier today, or was it yesterday? Yeah,
Long-time Cretin-Derham Hall baseball coach.
How old was he?
Had to be in his mid to late 70s, I would imagine.
Yeah, he was.
He's been ill for a while.
He had been. Yeah, he'd taken ill for quite some time. He was my math teacher and gym teacher at Nativity prior to going to Cretin.
Yeah.
And he was almost lured away to go be the Egan baseball coach when Egan High School was started, and he said no, he's gonna stay.
He's coached some really great players.
Molitor? Was he a Molitor coach?
Well, he had Maurer.
Maurer for sure. Yeah. Molitor was, I think they played, I don't know if he was his coach or not, but they...
Guillen, Ray Noble, I could think of a few. Hanahan's.
Rookie.
Yes, I was on the Cub. I had 2 at-bats.
Oh, boy.
And this was on the Cretin field.
Under Dennis's tutelage?
Dennis was, yes, it was like a... It was
How long did it take him to tell you to go home?
I'd love to hear his managerial advice to you, man.
This is, I went up to the plate at the Cretin field, and he was like, he was adjacent to the pitcher. So it was like, it wasn't a game, it was a practice.
Exhibition.
Did you have all
long
the
story?
Did you have all the theatrics, the
adjusting the gloves.
Adjusting. I was there again. As Dennis would always say, I was there for the entertainment.
Right.
So I was.
That's what Such says.
Ride the bench, but I knew my role.
Please tell me.
Keep them loose.
Please tell me you did this. You walked up there, adjusted the gloves, you tapped the plate with the bat as you would, and then you kind of gave it the point. Like, okay,
I pointed at the
let's
nook.
do this.
But it wasn't.
At the nook.
It wasn't that I was going to get a home run. It said that's where I'm going to eat after
Bacon
this.
cheeseburgers.
Where can you find me? Right there.
3 pitches, I'll be over there.
Well, the first time I walked because I didn't swing the bat ever.
No.
And then the second time it was 3 pitches and I sat down. I struck out. So those are my 2. I never made varsity there. I never even tried out for varsity.
No
but
kidding.
freshman and freshman year there were no cuts. Sophomore year I was the manager.
What about? Did you play the field? Where they stick you out and right, or
I played left out.
Here's John Heidt in his
But
newsroom.
I will say about Dennis Denning, he was the nicest guy, and even though he had great baseball knowledge, to a guy like me who did not, I don't know how to throw a baseball. He never.
He gave you the time.
He gave me the time. He was
awesome.
never to the kids that couldn't play. He always made them feel like they were part of the team.
Was there much like the double pump layup? Was there a baseball version?
A signature move?
I never even got to that part, but with Mr. Tower at basketball.
Here's John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe. After a long wait, St. Paul citizens could have their new police chief today. The St. Paul City Council expected to vote on and likely approve Mayor Melvin Carter's police chief nominee, Commander Axel Henry. That vote, as we record this, comes in about 2 or 3 hours. If the vote passes Wednesday, Henry could be sworn in as soon as tonight. He has worked for the St. Paul Department for nearly 25 years. This fall, he was among 5 finalists for chief.
I got a hot tip for you. The council will approve his selection.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
You never can be too
No,
sure.
I know.
Star Tribune reporting Amwadi Pepe McKenzie, one of 4 men convicted in the 1992 murder of Minneapolis police officer Jerry Hoff, will remain in prison, the Minnesota Corrections Department said Tuesday. Corrections Commissioner Paul Schnell denied McKenzie's supervised release after an hour-long closed-door hearing. McKenzie will get another review of his life sentence in 30 months. Schnell met with Hoff family members, including Marilyn Hoff, the police officer's widow, daughter Cindy Benson, and son Jerome Hoff, before conducting a video interview with the prisoner who is being held in the prison at Lino Lakes. In a subsequent interview with the Star Tribune, Schnell declined to say what family members told him. He said he made his decision after what was described in a news release as a thorough review of case files, McKenzie's prison record, and input from the Correction Department's life sentence review panel.
Wow, isn't that funny? I haven't heard the name Mwari Pepe Mackenzie for decades. But as soon as you said it, I'm like, that's the guy that shot Jerry Hoff.
Yeah.
Or was involved, allegedly. Or I don't know if he's convicted.
Well, he was convicted.
You don't have to say allegedly.
Not anymore, okay. Is it worth it? I mean, really, if you went to Mwari, would you say, was it really worth it?
No, the answer would be no.
Okay.
A man who was in custody in a Minnesota state prison has now been sentenced to federal time for leading a meth trafficking conspiracy while behind bars. U.S. Attorney's Office says 39-year-old Robert Edward Maloney Jr. was sentenced Monday to almost 22 years in federal prison for conspiring to distribute meth. He was convicted by a jury in April. Prosecutors say in the spring of 2019, Maloney coordinated with others outside the prison he was in to sell the meth. Recordings of his jail calls caught him directing and coordinating meetings, drug prices, and quantities. Authorities say he also threatened a witness on the phone. After serving his prison time, Maloney will also have to serve 5 more years of supervised release. NATO said there was no indication the missile strike that hit a Polish border village on Tuesday was deliberate, saying Russia was ultimately to blame as it continued to bombard Ukraine with missiles. Military Alliance's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said the missile incident took place as Russia launched a massive wave of rocket attacks across Ukraine. Preliminary analysis, as previously reported, suggests the incident was caused by a Ukrainian air defense missile fired to defend Ukrainian territory against those Russian cruise missile attacks. 2 people were killed in that attack. Minnesotans can now place another order for 4 more free at-home rapid COVID tests through the state's online ordering program. Anyone who has not yet placed an order can get up to 12 tests at once while supplies last. The federal government's free at-home test program has been suspended. Minnesota's program continues. Minnesotans can also place orders through the Minnesota Department of Health COVID-19 public hotline. Representative Tom Emmer of here in Minnesota fulfilled his ambition to rise in the party's ranks, becoming the number 3 member of the Republican House leadership in the next Congress. Emmer was selected majority whip by members of the GOP conference on a second ballot cast anonymously by Republicans who will serve in the next Congress. That happened yesterday, and just today, Mitch McConnell of Kentucky reelected overwhelmingly as the Senate leader for the party, holding off Senator Rick Scott of Florida in the first challenge that McConnell has faced since assuming the post in 2007. He won handily. It was a 37-10 vote. The contest exposed a divide over strategy among Senate Republicans that is likely to complicate their attempts to counter the Democratic majority over the next 2 years. He defeated Mr. Scott, who, what's Scott's first name? Rick Scott. He defeated Rick Scott. Scott.
Republicans don't have to do it. I know I had the vote.
But why don't we get fresh blood in there? Why do we
live
owe
life
that?
On the third rail?
Why do we
they
owe
don't
it to
have
him?
anything to do with you. They're
Challenge
protecting
in 15
their own
years.
self.
Has it made it more or less likely that you might consider stepping aside once you beat Mike
Step
Pence?
aside, you old
Look,
coot.
I'm not going anywhere. Carl.
That's pretty arrogant.
I'm not going anywhere.
God bless it.
McConnell months ago raised
Take
candidate
Schumer with
quality.
him.
You're right.
Candidate
And
quality
Pelosi.
as a problem for his party in the midterms. He said the Republican losses signaled a badly damaged party brand that had alienated crucial voting groups and especially the middle ground with voters in America. The killer or killers who stabbed 4 University of Idaho students to death remains at large, prompting a lot of students to leave the campus in the small town, despite police assurances that there was no imminent risk to the community. So many students had left the tree-lined campus in Moscow, Idaho by Tuesday that university officials said a candlelight vigil scheduled for the next day would instead now be held after the Thanksgiving break. The students were all close friends, found dead in an off-campus rental home around noon on Sunday. Officials said they likely were killed several hours earlier. Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabut told the Spokane, Washington-based TV station KXLY that her preliminary investigation showed the students were stabbed to death. There's no indication that substance use was involved in the deaths. The Moscow Police Department has not said whether investigators have identified any suspects, but maintained in a statement the killings came in what they called an isolated, targeted attack, and there's no imminent threat to the community at large.
I don't get that, John. They have no suspects, but they're telling you don't worry about it.
Yeah,
but
I
they don't have
understand.
a suspect.
They did say, and this I also don't understand, perhaps they'll explain more, but police said evidence from the scene indicates there's no broader risk, but would give no more information.
Well, they obviously know something that we don't.
Exactly. As expected, you talked about earlier, Donald Trump announcing his candidacy for the presidency in 2024 last night. He is facing lots of pushback from some members of his own party, and now some donors are saying they will not give him money when they supplied money before. New York-based businessman Andy Sabin gave Trump $120,000 in the 2020 election cycle. He said he'll be backing Ron DeSantis in a run for the presidency if he runs, saying, quote, "I'm not going to give a bleeping nickel to Trump." He didn't say bleeping, obviously. Miami Dolphins owner and real estate titan Stephen Ross raised money for Trump in 2020. He said that won't happen again. And Citadel CEO Ken Griffin, who gave over $100 million in the midterms, mainly toward Republicans running for state and federal races, said it's time for that party to move to a new generation of leaders.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
From the Have a Nice Vacation file, the butchered remains of 3 people washed ashore in Acapulco, Mexico over the weekend. Shocking beachgoers at the once thriving holiday hotspot. Did you see those pictures?
Sure did.
Hundreds of people just standing around, bodies laying on the beach.
Yep.
Gruesome photos showed a body lying face up on sun-soaked Condesa Beach as tourists gawk and families wade in the water nearby. The corpses all showed signs of torture. Authorities removed the bodies, believed to be victims of brutal cartel violence, but never shut down the beach. The first 2 bodies were found by tourists on the beach on Saturday.
That's just a finger.
Yeah.
The third washed up on nearby Iquitos Beach. One of the 2 bodies found on Condesa was bound to a cement anchor. And the third body found on Iquitos had been shot in the back of the head.
I don't think I'd want to make the Mexican drug cartel angry at me.
No.
You know what? You just kind of want to hang out and do nothing.
I don't think there is such a thing as the Mexican drug cartel. I think that's a fabrication of the media.
What do you think it is?
I don't think there's anything. And
Kenny's
I think
trying to get on the payroll.
nice guys and probably trying to help us out with some low-cost medicine.
Kenny would like to host their podcast.
They're in the pharmaceutical business, is what Kenny's saying.
Yeah, they're just trying to help out.
Yeah. Yesterday, Hormel, based, of course, as we have to say, in Austin, Minnesota, announced they were selling figgy pudding for a limited time during the holiday season.
Gross.
Well, on their website, it's already sold out.
You're kidding.
No, in one day. You might be able to get some on Amazon or Walmart's websites. They also had some to sell.
What is it?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
You've heard this in the song.
Yeah, they demanded. Somebody wants them to bring them some
Won't
figgy
you
pudding.
bring us some figgy pudding. We are
It's
like
warm.
figgy
Isn't it served
pudding.
warm?
Well, what is it? Please tell
It's a
me.
traditional
Figgy-
English dish,
go ahead.
Joe, which is more akin to a boiled or steamed cake made with figs or other dried fruits, rather than like a pudding that us North Americans are familiar with. And referenced in the Christmas Carol, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Here.
Does it go well with lutefisk?
No, I'd rather eat my shoe. It's gross.
Spam, citing a recent survey, said that only 69% of people have heard of figgy pudding, and only 17% have actually tried it.
Does it have spam in it?
No.
Well, Spam brand decided to fill the void by offering the brand new flavor. I'll tell you what it has now. Spam Figgy Pudding. The company calls it a savory, sweet, and comforting treat with ingredients including cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, allspice, and cloves, and winter flavor profiles like fig and orange.
John,
flavors.
with this demand, is this just a product of pure laziness? I mean, this is something you can make on your own.
Oh, don't you think it's more like the novelty of it?
Oh,
Look,
okay.
figgy pudding.
Figgy pudding or plum was the name for any kind of dried fruit back in the day. Originated in 14th century Britain as a way to preserve food. A soup-like dish, it was served as a fasting meal in preparation for the Christmas season. Beef and mutton were mixed with raisins and prunes, wines, and spices.
Wow. Sounds weird.
And if you are eating it under the mistletoe, it's made with peach, prude, or alfalfa.
Why are foods around Christmas time so horrible?
Because they come from the old country.
This and what is the fruit cake pie thing? And the lutefisk. Lefsa's good. I love lefsa, but it seems like most of the Christmas...
I think it's because it stems from your history in the European nations.
Nailed it.
Marked as a Christmas tradition in Britain in the mid-1600s, these Christmas desserts were banned in 1647 by Puritans, but reinstated as a Christmas pudding by King George I. By Victorian times, the ingredients had come close to that of modern versions, the recipe standardizing the 19th century breadcrumbs, eggs, brown sugar, suet, raisins, currants, candied
like
orange
bird
peel,
food.
nutmeg,
Yeah.
and alcohol.
That's bird food.
Yeah,
And-
I can do without figgy pudding.
What is the alcohol drink? It involves
Eggnog.
eggs.
Eggnog.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. I don't like it.
You know what? Just give me a big 5-pound slab of very salty ham and get the hell away from me.
Yeah, let them chew on it.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
Before we do any more news,
Eggnog.
let me tell you that this news is brought to you by Rivertown Medical Center in Stillwater. After your favorite exercise, favorite activity, or if you just are going up and down a few steps, do your knees sometimes give you a little
Yes.
work?
Yes.
How do you know this, John?
Well, Rivertown Medical Center in Stillwater can help you take care of that pain without any prescription drugs or invasive surgery. Dr. Dan at Rivertown Medical Center's Regenerative Care for Knees can help you with that chronic pain. Your cranky knees serve up to you because of cartilage damage, grinding, bone on bone, or, we're older fellas, maybe just plain old arthritis.
Yeah, I don't do much grinding anymore.
This month, November, call 651-661-4311 and schedule a consultation that includes a complete exam, x-rays, and lots more. And the cost to you in November, consider it a Thanksgiving special. Only $49. That's a deal that usually costs $299. It'll get at the root cause of your pain and take care of it without masking it or numbing it with treatments that don't really fix the problem. Again, call Rivertown Medical Center, 651-661-4311 for the consultation. Help Dr. Dan help you out. Just $49. Kenny.
Before we continue, are we purposely trying to protect the identity of Matthew today? It looks like he's in one of these investigative journalist piece on TV, and we're trying
That
to
was yesterday, too, the latest.
shield his image from
We
the
know
public.
why.
I have no idea.
Because all the lights in here work.
Well, has anybody made an effort to maybe call building
No.
services
Well, I mean,
or Tom
let's ask
Call
him.
the light department.
any of the guys down
The
in the
light
shop?
department.
Or
Let's ask him.
Has anybody made an effort at all?
Why did you tell the cartel you would not go with them?
Isn't Tom listening right now?
I'm undercover right now.
Tom, if you're listening, could you run down and take care of what Reavers obviously can't handle?
Call the light
I
department.
fixed it yesterday, and for some reason it went back to this lighting situation. But Joe and I are sitting 3 feet from Rookie, so this makes no sense
Well,
whatsoever.
the obvious solution here is for Matthew to slide his chair over right next to Joe, so
No.
those two can be in one shot.
No.
Joe is my friend, and we both fell in love with a horse.
I don't know. John, do you have another one for us?
Yeah, this one ends horribly, but it's so weird I have
this
to
is
do it. I'm
serious, okay.
sorry. Well, it probably is, but I'll probably hear some giggles. A 25-year-old man either jumped or climbed onto a moving 18-wheeler before he started to dance on top of the 18-wheeler. This is in
Oops.
Texas.
Oopsie.
Yep.
Well, here's the bad part. When the
Yeah.
semi-trailer
Low
traveling,
underpass, let me guess.
Yeah.
traveling south on the East Tex Freeway passed underneath the bridge, the dancing man slammed into the overpass and was knocked off the vehicle.
That's a Roadrunner and Coyote
Right.
cartoon,
Yep.
is it not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that losing sight of nature?
No, that's just being a
Yeah.
jackass.
That's
Well,
being high on something.
Authorities say they think
Not
the
high
man
enough.
may have been recording himself as he danced atop the truck. A video shared on Facebook shows the man dancing on the semi-trailer before the fatal accident.
Goodness gracious.
Police questioned and released the driver of the 18-wheeler. He was unaware someone had gotten on top of his truck and started dancing, according to authorities. They say the investigation is ongoing.
John, thank you.
Off. This is off record. Are you part of the town council, Tommy?
Yeah.
That's eerie.
Yeah,
So
he
he
heard
heard
about
us.
the- heard about
and he
the
came
light.
right down. The guy
Tom's
that
there
runs the
already.
show here. Yeah, he's already down here.
I got to protect myself.
All right.
Why are you here?
Thank you, Reavers.
All right, 5,000.
We're taking a break, Reavers.
Let's get those lights fixed,
Hey,
Reavers.
Chris, we're taking a break, I guess.
But
Chris.
first,
Bunga
I
bunga.
love to tell all of you, including members of the town council that barge in during the show, Just kidding, Tom. I love when you come and hang out. Joe, I'm going to do this so slow. This show's going to get over with at 3:30 in the afternoon.
I'm late for work already. I gotta go.
Hofferman Water
appointment
is
at
here
2.
because they're an independent water treatment dealer. They offer sales, service, and rental for Connecticut water treatment systems, and I should know. I have one, Joe. I had it installed just a few months ago. So happy with my decision. Should I slow down even more?
No, it's fine.
Okay, but you're holding your handle like
I'm
I
a
should be
guard
even slower.
guy. You-
What are we doing here?
You want me to talk lower? Is that
No,
what you're
just go
lowering my
ahead.
volume? Okay.
The acoustic storm.
Water softeners, iron, rust, and odor filtration systems. See, now you're in my head.
Sure.
I started to do the ad.
There was plenty of
And a
room,
normal-
believe me.
Oh, wow.
Wow, zinger.
Set up a
And
lawn chair.
Drinking water systems. A new system from Connecticut can do so many things other water softeners just simply cannot do. Like I've mentioned, it's going to cut down on your salt usage, but it's also going to protect your appliances. Bad water's awful, and it's going to affect every aspect of your home. You get that new system from Connecticut and Hofferman Water, your showers become so much better. So does your laundry and your drinking water. So please get in touch with my friends at Hofferman Water today. 952-894-4040, or just visit their website, hoffermanwater.com. That's 952-894-4040. Please tell them that the Slow-Paced Reavers and the Garage Logic podcast sent you today.
If you want a spiral candle, it's easy to do. You go to spiralcandles.com.
Joe loves when you sing.
Burning boring candles you should not do. Listen to me, I'll show you what to do. You go to spirallightcandles.com. They burn in a circular motion. It's really cool to see. If you don't buy these candles, that's the end of me. Spiralite candles, spiralite candles, spirallightcandles.com. Burn in a circular motion. If you don't buy them, then it's a bomb. Spiralite Candles, online at spirallightcandles.com. It is a company that started in the garage and is approved by garage logicians. Ask specifically for the cylinder index candle. It smells like the garage. Many choices available at spirallightcandles.com.
Sing us out now.
Sing it out.
Spiralite Candles, Spiralite Candles, spirallightcandles.com.
One.
And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
As per Matthew Mikulski, it is my duty to inform you that firearms deer season is over in Minnesota, but the muzzleloader season is coming up soon. DK Mags has a few different muzzleloaders on their website, dkmags.com, and all the accessories you need to get out in the field, including scopes. But I'm going to warn you right now, if you're going to sight in that muzzleloader of yours, buy a whole bunch of sabots because it takes forever, and sighting in a muzzleloader is a real frustrating experience. So get ready for that. But they're really cool firearms. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Wisconsin deer season opens up this weekend. It's not too late to stop into DK on Old 8 in New Brighton to stock up on whatever ammunition and accessories you might need. They can get you a field and help bag that game you've been pursuing. Great selection, fair prices, a wonderful staff at both DK Mags in New Brighton and Monticello Pawn and Gun. Check out the website, dkmags.com.
Only because they come to us all the way from Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa, from the Traveling Lyman's. You all right?
Brian from the town council just said, I'll pay another $100 if Rookie never sings again.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was wonderful.
Wow.
From the Traveling Lyman's at Worldwide Wapsie. It was on this day,
November 16th.
1854, the preparatory or high school department of what is now Hamlin University opened for business in Red Wing. named for Leonidas L. Hamlin, a Methodist bishop. The school suspended operations in 1869 and reopened in St. Paul in 1890, but its original founding date makes it the oldest college in the state.
I knew that.
On this day in 1881, your town is always in this. Faribault hung its first street signs.
I wonder where.
Who cares?
I do.
On this day in 19...
Then why did you bring it up if you don't
What's
care?
on this day in history?
Oh, I suppose.
On this day in 1883, the steamer Manistee sinks in Lake Superior. It had left Duluth on November 10, but a gale had driven it into port at Bayfield.
Ooh.
Captain John McKay tried to force passage on this night, and 23 of the sailors aboard are never seen again. A lifeboat carrying 3 survivors washed ashore a few days later.
What year? I missed the year.
That would be 1883. And on this day in 1939,
November 16th.
the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Pierce Butler died in Washington, D.C. He was born near Northfield, Minnesota on March 17, 1866. Butler was a conservative judge who opposed many of President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs. Butler was the first justice to pass the bar exam after studying with an attorney rather than attending law school. He served as lawyer in Ramsey County and as regent for the U of M before President Warren G. Harding appointed him to the High Court in 1922.
Northfield, just north of Faribault.
And we get Pierce Butler route from that, the street.
And Warren G. came up with the song Regulators.
On this day in 2009, the first commuter train in Minnesota carried passengers from Big Lake to downtown Minneapolis.
I was on that ride.
I was going to say, Kenny was on
North
it.
Star, yeah.
The North Star rail line cost $320 million and is funded by the federal and state governments, the regional rail authorities for Anoka, Hennepin, and Sherburne counties, the Metropolitan Council, and the Minnesota Twins.
You know what that also means, Kenny? That's the same anniversary of my biggest cheap shot at you on the radio.
Oh, what was that?
Well, because Patrick, doing the Royce and Company morning show, had sent Kenny on the North Star.
Right.
Thus, I had to stay back and fill in for Kenny to do traffic, and I said, there ain't a chance in hell he's on that damn train.
Jay Coles, to
he's
this
sitting
day,
in his basement.
they both, Coles and Royce, still believe that I was not on that train.
He just stayed home for the day.
Were you, in fact, on it?
I had to take the stupid Hiawatha rail to downtown, get on a North Star heading north, of all things, stay on it while it came back for the first ride. So the first ride on the North Star was actually outbound, not inbound.
That's very interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you, GLers.
And don't forget, by the way, tomorrow is Give to the Max Day, and we here at Garage Logic are supporting our good friend Mike Schoonover and his charity, Patrick Schoonover's Heart Foundation, that helps identify heart defects in kids ages 14 to 24 following the death of their son, Patrick. The foundation provides free heart screens for kids 14 to 24. These screens include family health history, blood pressure, height, weight, EKG, and physician consultation to review results. The foundation also teaches hands-only CPR and AED awareness and donates AEDs to host schools. GLers, you can help out this amazing charity with your tax-deductible donation. And to do so, just visit GarageLogic.com, click on the banner ad, or to donate, search the keyword Patrick at GarageLogic.com.
Play for Patrick.
Wonderful organization. Thank you. Hit that button right there. And as long as you're online, head on over to the Garage Logic YouTube page where you can hit the subscribe button, because there we are posting daily content for your amusement. And we're all over social media. Joe's favorite device ever. Social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, it's all there for you. And the Town Council, if you haven't signed up yet, we've got a big darn deal coming up on November 30th at Tattersall. You can find more information at the website as well for that, garagelogic.com. www.windmilling.com.